All right. Back for the summer. Here we are. So, before we get started today, wanted to go over the mod list that I have here so that anybody watching now or in the future, if you're interested in playing in sort of the same vein that I am, you'll have an idea of what mods I'm using here. Once the VOD goes up, I'll attach a mod list in the description of that video as well, just so that that's all readily accessible. Might even include some links. Yeah, I think I'll include some links. Just make it as easy as possible to get into this. So, with that, not multiplayer, this is the world that we will be playing in. And the settings are as follows, or at least the ones that differ from default. Random respawn radius is 100 blocks. The timer for dropped items is 1 hour. The hunger rate and the food spoilage rate are slightly slower at 75% of the normal rate. Tool durability is up by 300%. And the world map is set to accurate color. Land cover is 50%, and the land cover and landform scales are 300%. And I did this so that I could utilize one of the mods called Rivers. That is... which one is it here? Rivers, yeah. So, Rivers code by Sneeze. It seems that, having default world settings doesn't allow for rivers to generate as much. And it might not be 300%. You might be able to get away with 200%. I haven't played with it a lot to know exactly how much wiggle room you have there, but just something to consider. I also have forestation up 25%. Makes for a significantly forested world, although not completely covered, but there are large patches. And of course, surface copper and surface tin are set to very common and common respectively. And the world height is set at 384. Now, without spending too much time on this, just to justify the tool durability, it's more for my own sanity, because I absolutely hate having tools go bad on me. It seems like after 30 minutes. I probably could get away with just 200%, but for the sake of keeping things moving along, for the sake of the stream and the videos I'll be putting out, the tool durability set to 300% is going to allow me to do more stuff in the game beyond maintaining in my toolkit. So, with that, let's get started. Let's do it. We go. Oh, and as usual, the music I'm having playing in the background that's not in-game will all be linked in the description that comes after in the VOD. But if you're interested in checking them out, top right of the screen, you can see both the artist and the album that I am listening to currently. It's a very, very good chiptune adventure soundtrack. I would check it out. But let me go ahead and pause that for the moment. Make sure everything is good here. The game audio appears to be acting up a bit. Okay, I think that did it. Yes, that did it. Alrighty, yeah, we are good to go. Let me go ahead and just disable the music. Now playing text, so we can focus on what's going on here. And of course, obviously, I will enable the music later. But for now, I need to get going on... What are you doing in my house, Floyd? You're not even the person... You're not even the guy that lent me the shack. Get out of here. That would be... Let's see, where are the herbalists? Where are they at? Where's my very best of friends? Where are they all at here? You know, I've not actually been in here before. Ah, here we go. The herbalists. So these two are the... They are the interesting couple that... Whoa, okay, guys. Yeah, no, doors are for losers. I get it. I'm all for it. But yeah, they lent me their shack to have in the back while I sort of get on my feet. And they've got themselves a lovely little abode back here. Side-by-side beds and all that. Nice cooking pot with nothing in it. And a beehive out back. So, yeah, whatever you say, Floyd. So, before we get too lost in the weeds here, let me set about setting up a couple more storage vessels, because that is going to become very relevant very quickly. So we'll just do the smart thing and actually build it directly into the kiln pit, fire kiln pit, whatever you want to call these. Okay. Now, I know there are mods that allow you to essentially automatically complete these clay forms, but I don't know. I kind of like I'm very much a fan of the process. Very satisfying, very, very relaxing. I could just sit here and put voxels together. Something very satisfying about it. And I feel like a auto clicker would essentially just remove what enjoyment there is here. It's very there's a lot of feedback doing it this way. But as you'll find, to keep there's a certain balance to be struck. Now that there's a layer that I've already done, there is a built-in feature that allows you to duplicate the previous layer. So that way, you know, you don't get into any sort of repetitive motions. You could just copy-paste the previous layer. Now, when things change again, I'm going to have to go back to doing it voxel by voxel. But that's okay, because suddenly, or the most tedious parts of these builds are taken care of right out the gate. And of course, I believe the more complicated shapes, like the anvil, is a pretty complicated build. And there's not a lot of opportunities to copy previous layers with that. Whoops. 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 Oh, man. That's fine. Just take a little away. It's clay, man. It ain't going anywhere. Okay. Now, I can also do a little cheeky copy the last layer bit on some of these parts. And sometimes, even if it overlaps in places where it's not supposed to, it's quicker to remove some of the parts that you put there than it is to actually fill out all the edges and such. There we go. And there's a raw storage vessel right out the gate. Now, I gotta get some grass. Naturally, of course, you know, I put this on the best side, the side that has, like, no grass on it whatsoever. I don't have my knife. What did I do with my knife? Do I really not? No, my knife's right here. I'm just blind. That's fine. Okay, so we already kind of went over this area. But fortunately, grass is everywhere. I need to make sure that I'm getting, I think it's 10? 10 pieces? I believe that's correct. And then I have the sticks. Run back over here and immediately get to firing this up. Hello? Yes? No? What's going on here? Can I not, what's the deal? Why can't I do it? Okay, hang on. Maybe I have to place it? Okay, yeah, that's weird. So there's definitely something to that, where it won't let you place the straw down, or the dry grass down, if you just built it there. Which strikes me as a little odd. I would personally like to be able to just put the grass right in as soon as I'm done baking it. Where can I put this axe? All these spots are... Hold on. Wait. Nowhere to lean this up against. Okay, you know what? For the moment, we'll just... man, really hitting the ground running here. Let me just grab some gravel, and that'll be fine. Just put a little gravel pile right there, and then we have a nice place to put our axe. It's a little jank, I admit, but I don't care. I just want to put my stuff down so that I can carry on with my life. Where is a torch? Haha. Now, one of the finds that I had here, was that, it's a aged torch holder, which allows your torches to persist indefinitely, which is great. These oil lanterns are fantastic and all, but they just don't light up things as much as I would like them to. But they are nice to have because they are waterproof, which is a thing in this game. You can't just jump into water with your torches. Torches will go out, which makes sense. I like that. It's realistic. Now, not all realism is built equal. Obviously, there are some limitations I would prefer. Or some limitations? What's the word I'm looking for here? It's not limitations, but there are some things that I would prefer a game to have in the service of accessibility, quality of life, because a purely realistic game would be very, very frustrating. Because, I mean, hunger is kind of a staple in all survival games. But okay, no, that's just it's fine. It's just a boar. You're a real boar. Ow. Okay, fine. It wasn't that good of a joke. You don't have to... Come on. Come here. Ouch. Come here. I ain't done with you. Come here. You don't start fights you can't finish. Get back here, you son of a bitch. Ooh, onions. Let me mark that real quick. Oh, I made a mistake. Ouchie. Okay, that's fine. I got some poultice. Oh, where did that bastard go? I lost him. Well, so much for that. I ended up where I wanted to be anyway. There's some copper. Yes, some surface copper deposits here. Which means there's some copper just below the surface here. I'm going to try to dig this out so that I'm not immediately flooding the mine that I'm trying to make here. Let's see here. Should have emptied my pockets before coming here, but say lovey. What are you going to do? Now, hold on. I'm noticing, let's see here. Interface, hand position. I don't know why I can't see my hands. Let's see here. Make this very, very quick here. Immersive first person. Okay. So that's kind of neat. I like that. It can get in the way, though. But we'll run it for a bit. See how I feel. If it starts making me go cross-eyed, I'll change it back. Alrighty. Now, okay, that might be a problem, because I want to avoid situations where I could, like, do little peeksy doodles into the walls. So maybe I might turn that off, because I don't want to spoil anything for myself. Let's see here. We don't need that. Hand position. Field of view. Okay. That's all right. We don't need to see our hands. I would like to, but we don't need to. Let's see. One second. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Because it is, if I'm being honest, this does bother me a little bit. All right. Because I'm sure it's just a, let's see here. Okay. All right, so there's like a creative option I have enabled somehow. I do have like codes enabled on this world, but I don't recall setting first-person hands to be off. So let's just check that real quick. Game mode, creative. Oh, set up. Game mode. Creative. Okay, so let's see here. First person hands. Okay, see, that should be on. I don't know why that's off. I'm not sure. Whoops. It's fine. Didn't happen. Give me back. Get me out of this. Game mode. Survival. Okay, very good. Maybe it's something that affects games across different saves, because I was doing some creative mode testing for like shots in a test world that I'm running, and perhaps that is where the issue comes in. And don't mind me if you ever see the screen kind of freeze up like that. That's not your machine. That is in fact me. I'm tabbing out and checking things to make sure everything's running smoothly. So don't adjust those televisions. Now, there had better be some copper here. Because I don't have the prospecting pick, so I can't know for sure how deep down I'm going to have to go to find this. I think what might be a better move is to go where I picked up that copper and kind of dig straight down. Which is more or less just like right here, which shouldn't be too far removed from what I'm already doing, but we'll do it anyway. There is a certain amount of there's a certain methodical process to mining ores in this game, which I kind of like. There is a method to it, whereas, you know, and I'm going to be comparing this game to Minecraft a lot because, well, I mean, come on, look at it. It used to be a Minecraft mod, for Christ's sakes. So, go figure. But you can't just dig in a line, strip mine, and find what you're looking for. The way that the ores generate in this game are not in, like, big chunks. They're usually in, like, discs that adhere to the shape of the world generation. Which I think is a very interesting, it's an interesting mechanic. There's a whole tool called the Prospector's Pick that you use to help you find these ore deposits. And videos that I've watched on it that talk about it usually have some sort of disparaging remarks about it. Like, oh, we don't talk about prospecting. And I get it. You know, prospecting is a little tedious. But I think that having the mechanic in place in its current form is a little tedious, yes. I would much prefer prospecting to just be done with, you know, just one sample instead of just the 3 that they have you do. You'll see what I mean when I get my hands on it. And there is a mod that you can install that removes the need to prospect 3 times in one chunk. You could just poke a hole in the ground and take a sample, and boom, that's it. Which is so much quicker, because the way that you do it as is involves you kind of digging down, not unlike this, and then you dig like 3 blocks that way, 3 blocks that way. You take a sample at your feet, and then you, through your little poke hole, you grab another sample, and then off to your right, you grab another sample like 4 blocks away, and that like gives you the reading of like how much ore is in that particular chunk, and like you follow the readings chunk to chunk until you find what you're looking for. It's an interesting process, but it is tedious, and I think a little bit of that tedium can be removed by only requiring you to take 1 sample per chunk. And the devs seem to have like a very specific vision in mind, which, you know, I don't want them to compromise on that, obviously. Oh, yeah. Of course, Wolf. What I was talking about was the mechanic of prospecting in this game, which the footnotes of what I was talking about is it requires you to essentially dig down into the stone layer and then take 3 separate samples of that chunk, which can be tedious, and it ends up being very tedious. I don't know if I have any examples of prospecting on this particular world yet, but when I get that prospecting pick, you will very quickly see what I'm talking about. And if it ends up being far too tedious for the stream, then I might just install the mod that lets me just take 1 block samples per chunk, just to, you know, keep things moving along. Because as much as I enjoy the slow, methodical nature of going chunk to chunk, I understand that can't be very entertaining to watch, which then, you know, relies on me. The onus is now on me to entertain any viewers. Ooh, thunder, majestic. So I think I was lied to. I don't think there's any copper here. Now, let me, before I sort of consign myself to defeat here, let me try digging down over here. Because there should be some copper deposits close to the surface, but perhaps it's not close enough to... Oh, that was a pig. Hold on. Everything else goes on the back burner. Food. There you are. Oh, is that the guy? Is that the one? Oh, hi. Hello. I don't think he saw me. I don't have a spear, so... Club! Come here. I'm gonna whoop that ass. I'm gonna whoop that ass. Get back here. Come here. Yeah. Come here. Don't you run from me. Don't you run from me. Not again. Come here. Where'd you go? I lost him. In the bushes. I lost him in the... Oh, whoa. Okay, all right. He brought his friends. She brought her friends. Oh, you suck. Come here. Just come here. Let's slug it out. I don't even care. Come here. Yeah. All right. There we go. That's food. Did we get him? Yeah, we got him. Woo. How exciting. But your weight is kind of low, so you're not... Well, okay. No, that's not bad. For a low-weight creature, that's not bad. This little watering hole is kind of a hot spot. As you can see here, I've already gotten a boar once here. Oh, we got some carrots growing here. Maybe that's why they're around. Okay. Also, ooh, I don't remember what that marker I put down was all about. By the way, that right there is part of another mod. I'm not sure which one it is. Very convenient. Keeps me from having to jam my thumb on spacebar every time I want to ascend a one block surface. Although I'll still do it out of habit, just because, you know, I love the idea of having carpal tunnel by the time I'm in my mid-30s. I love the idea. Can't wait. Okay, there's you. My club might break in the middle of this, but I'm okay with that. Ah! Come here. Ow! Come here. Okay, oh, geez, you're gonna kill me. I need to dip. I need to get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Of course, here I am without any more poultice. Oh, man. Dying hurts. Also, I feel like my view is... Oh, yeah, that's something that happens. That's a thing that happens. Okay, I gotta get out of here. Go make some poultice. And of course, you know, the rift activity is, you know, slow, so we're fine. Jeez, they fucked my shit up. Don't fuck around with pigs unless you got a spear, guys. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. Okay. Da 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 da. Okay, here we are. Wonderful. Now, God, this kind of this hurts my brain a little bit. And let me just put that down. Fortunately, I did set aside some horsetail here. It's not going to be nearly enough to cover my everything, but jeez. Horsetail. Poultice. 4 and 2. Okay, I just have it backwards. Boof. All right, very good. So, not enough to bring them back to full, but at least enough to keep my mouse from just meandering all over the place. And I'm sure we can probably find some horsetail nearby. Plenty of thatch. Horsetail. Closest batch of it is probably going to be way over there. So let's go fetch it real quick. Now, that spot right here with the surface copper, probably a dud. But there was some surface copper up here, and that's probably where I'll check out next, because the density of those surface deposits was a lot greater than where I just was. Speaking of which, here's another spot, and this one is closer. So actually, take backsies. We're doing this one. After I solve my immediate issue of tending my wounds, because wow, I got fucked up. But not before I took their sibling from them, which is very dark. Jeez, wow. All right. I mean, I did set surface deposits of copper to be quite high. Oh, there's another one. Sons of bitches. Those filthy sows. I'll come back for you. Don't you worry. I'm gonna get a copper spear ready, and I'm gonna spear the shit out of you. Show you the business. All right. Horsetail. Stay focused. The ADHD will. Oh, there's some. Here we go. All right. The ADHD will not conquer me today. And I say that right this moment, but you know, in like 2 minutes when I forget what I'm doing and I inevitably go wandering off in a direction, that will suddenly not be the case. All right, there's that 2. I need 2 more. There's 1, and there we go. Okay, so let's just just grab all of it. Why not? Why not? It's all here. Why wait? That's just grass. All right. Very good. All right, so now Let's go find ourselves some reeds. How many did we make from that batch? 16. So we can make 4 batches, I think. So 8 reeds, I believe, is what I need. And of course, here I am without a light source, so I'm about to go traipsing around in the dark without a light, which is what we call in the industry a pro gamer move. Oh, mushrooms. Mushrooms! Try saddles. Oh, yeah, no, I got absolutely doinked. Welcome to the chat, Luck. Welcome to the chat. Mushrooms. Let's get that down so that we know where that is. I mean, can I just take it now? Do I have anything I really care to have on me? I guess I could just drop the soil. Yeah, the hell with it. There's plenty of that just lying around. I will happily take some of these, though. These are edible, right? Just make sure. Yes, okay, those are edible. I am not too proud to admit that I have, without even looking, picked mushrooms up off of trees and the ground in this game and immediately started eating them. And when I take damage, I was sitting there wondering, what the hell's going on? There's not anything around me. And it dawns on me pretty quickly, fortunately, that I am killing myself with a death cap. You would think the name would have tipped me off, but no. My monkey brain was just like, oh, sustenance, get in my body. Don't need the dry grass. I need these at the moment, though. Boy, things are getting kind of dark. I should have brought a torch. This was a mistake. And, jeez, these boars are everywhere. These boars are everywhere right now. This is going to be a problem. Especially if I just kind of stumble across them. If they gang up on me right now, I could very easily end up dead. Also, another thing I like about this game, the wildlife doesn't take your shit. All right? It's not like cows in Minecraft where, you know, you just feel bad killing them. No. Nature out here will kick your ass. Jeez, man. Where's that? Okay, there's got to be something over by these hot springs. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Wolf. Absolutely. Also, this, I know I've mentioned it before, but this did used to be a mod for Minecraft, and they basically made an engine for this game, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go. Don't take my word on that. Anything that I say can and will be bullshit sometimes. I like talking out of my ass. It's fun. But I am under the impression that they've made their own engine for this game, which is fascinating to me. Especially since you know, it was birthed by Minecraft, which itself was birthed by the grandfather of block games. Jeez, it is getting so good. Can you see? Can you guys see what's going on here right now? I'm not sure if the visibility is good. I might have to up the brightness temporarily. Accessibility, graphics, gamma. You know, let's up the gamma temporarily for now. It's not a big difference, but hopefully it's enough until, you know, I get my hands on a torch. Even I'm struggling to see right now. I can only imagine what this looks like on stream. Let's see here. See, I'm struggling. That's okay. These are cattails. Very good. All right. 6. Then that's 7, and that's 8. Very good. All right, let's get the hell out of here. Let's get back home. Ultra go home. If I can, you know, manage to stumble my way through the thicket here. It's another thing this game does really well. Nighttime and darkness. Just it's menacing. Okay, I got to be careful. There's like a cave. Yeah, right there. There's a cave right there, and that is a hot spot for drifters. Now, the overall goal of today's stream is to, at the very least, reach the Bronze Age. which requires finding tin, which I think I've discovered some of that around. And fortunately, you don't have to have too much tin in order to achieve bronze. I think it's 2 units per 18. So it's like 1 per 10 units, something like that. Or wait, it's 1 to 9. I'd have to look up the mixture, but it's a very God, where the hell am I? This is difficult for me. I'm sorry. I'll have a light source on me from here on out. I promise. There we go. Okay. Woo! We've made it. Oh, I'm actually not too familiar with the process that goes into this. I've not spent a lot of time in the circles, I've not spent a lot of time learning about how these games are made overall. I gotta eat some food. I'm gonna starve. But I am familiar with how Minecraft was done, which was, I believe, more or less just a code. It was built from the ground up using Java, which, to my understanding, the games that do that tend to be very like, it's usually one of two things. It'll either be like this beautifully crafted work of art, much like, what was it, Roller Coaster Tycoon, which was built using the core language of Windows at the time, and it ran wonderfully. Okay, pardon me for just a moment while I refocus here and get this situation squared away. I have a bowl. I have an apple bowl, or whatever. Okay, now we can actually see what we're doing. Sorry that took me so long. All right, so let me grab some firewood. Got some stacked away up here. We need 4 because we're just making a simple meal. Well, it's far from simple, but you know what I mean. I do need a torch, though. I can't light this without... I could get the fire starter, but you know what? Yeah, that's what we'll do. That's what we will do. Let me grab that fire starter. So we don't need a fire starter in here. We've got the ever-burning torch situation. But we do need it in here. Whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. Nice. That was pretty much instant. Love that. Okay, so while that's cooking... Anyway, blockheads. Yeah, back in those days, game just didn't really exist. At least not for indie developers. Yeah, like indie gaming didn't really take off until, you know, a little bit after 2010, I think. There were some titles. I don't know how early they were, but I vaguely remember like Super Meat Boy being pretty a significant indie title. I remember. Gosh, what else? It was Fez, I think, was another big one. I don't know what came of that developer. I mean, last I heard, there was like some big stink or something going on with it. Something to do with like Let's Plays, copyrights, and all that. Let's see, OpenGL, easier to get into. But to be fair, even though it was more complex today, it's also far more powerful. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the capabilities of modern gaming engines are just... Like, it blows my mind, the stuff that people do with all those tools. Jeez, yeah, I had to reboot my Windows. I had a Windows blue screen just now. Let's see here. Okay, you know, one of the things that I need to do, you know, I probably could just have a pickaxe, a prospecting pick. I would need to make a mold for it, though. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'm gonna make a mold for a prospecting pick. Right. Here we go. So, can I make a mold? Oh, pickaxe. Prospecting pick. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So, we're going to do this. Beautiful. See, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, where it's actually quicker to just fill in from the previous layer that you just did. And then you could just go through and undo all the spots that you filled in. Arguably, that one might have been slower. But it feels better to me doing it this way. Whoops. There we go. All right, just like that. Bada big. Dunzo. We just grab it, take it over here, and shove it in a hole. Shove it in a hole. There we go. And I need to go get some grass real quick. Oh, and I gotta, you know what? Can I make a spearhead mold as well? Is that a thing that I could do? Hammer, fishing, bed of nails, splitter plug, shovel. Yeah, I don't think I could do a spear. That's unfortunate. Also not a big deal. Because I could probably get away with... Oh, there's just native copper bits right here. I never even noticed. Jeez. It's right in my back door. So, I mean, I'll just leave that there for the moment, because I'm going to want to dig down and see if there's maybe a little deposit going on that I've missed. Try making games so learn how it works. I can't imagine starting from scratch in today's day and age. Yeah, the learning curve is just so far ahead where it used to be. Like, you know, people who made Flash games, I at the time, I thought that was magical. But, you know, the tools available to people now are so in-depth, and they cover so much, you know, beyond, you know, physics engines, lighting engines, logic engines. Just, it's far more complicated now than it ever has been. And obviously, there is a trade-off to that. The more complex a engine, the more capable that engine is. But I find that simplicity has always kind of offered a wonderful result, regardless of not being able to do a lot with it. But something that has always kind of made me curious is how like old school game devs used to code for like NES and things like that. Because I've seen videos of people who like make their games as if they were working with the same limitations as NES developers were. And I still don't understand, like it's not like they had Windows like programs where they could just, you know, click and drag all these sprites onto the screen. Like that, I have no idea how they even did it. But I'm glad they figured it out, because man, that stuff defined my childhood. Okay, so I got the pickaxe mold going. So that's going to be probably a 24-hour situation, because I'm using wood instead of charcoal. Maybe I should have used charcoal instead of wood. That's okay. That's fine. I don't particularly mind. Let me get my storage situation squared away here. Also, one thing I want to just praise this game for real quick. You can open multiple chests at once. Let me say that again. You can open more than one chest at a time. How awesome is that? That's rad as hell. All right. Actually, let me... Oop, there we go. So now I can make at least one more portion out of the materials there before it goes bad. Let's see. Stick you over there, and I've got some stone that I really need to find a space for. Let's see, clay. Keep my raft on me. Rawhide. Let's see. I don't have any raw hide here, do I? Nope. Bones. Nope. Not in there. That's where all the food goes. Alright. I'll figure out what to do with this stuff here. One thing I can immediately think to do is, while I'm out there digging around, I can make some stone paths, which will amplify my walking speed as I'm going about my business out there in the world. Whoop. Okay, here we go. With that there, sticks. I don't really have a spot for sticks. Alright, just shove it in there. Who cares? Alright, very good. Let's get this meal situation squared away. Fill that crock. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Whoops. There we go. And that is a serving that we can take with us. Grab this. Slap that down there. Get it lit. Beautiful. Okay. AAA developers made their own tools to make the process easier. Yeah, you would think they probably would. It would all be very proprietary stuff. Would also explain why there was no real standard of game design, because everybody was using their own shit. Which is equally as wild to me. And it seems to me that the stuff that stuck around longest is the stuff that just so happened to work the best as well. Well, maybe not necessarily. I don't know. Throw some more wood in there for that to cook up. And once I get my meal here, we will head back out there, try to get our hands on some more copper. What are you doing? Floyd, dude, what are you doing, man? Knock it off, you crazy fool. Also, I've not really been up here. Is there anything interesting going on this way? Not really. Not really. All right, that's fine. I don't know what I expected from a kitchen. Okay. Tuck that away. Put this over here where I know where to find it. I've got some grass on me, which really I should just be setting aside somewhere. I'm just gonna... This is gonna look a little messy, but I'm just gonna put these right here for the moment, so that way I don't have to go digging around for grass later. I could just snatch it back up from right there. And there's my meal. Wonderful. All right. Save that last piece of firewood. Okay. Let's get back out there. The world is our oyster, after all. So let's check out that deposit over here. Most of those tools to time. Yeah, it really does kind of... It breaks my heart a little bit to know how much stuff just kind of got lost as we switched mediums. What is... Oh, it's a dead hen. Okay. Partially eaten. Well, that doesn't mean they won't have meat on them. But yeah, the historical significance of a lot of development tools being lost makes me very sad. Just, you know, seeing the popular formats, you know, change as much as they had over the last like 30 years or so, inevitably leads to a loss of some otherwise really cool stuff. Like, you know, just because Commodore 64 was obsolete at a certain time, that doesn't mean there isn't stuff on there that is just fucking awesome. I mean, some of the best soundtracks for games at the time were on the Commodore 64. And a lot of that music is hard to find unless you know exactly what you're looking for. Like, obviously with YouTube you can get lucky and you just look up a general search, you know, Commodore 64 music, best of, you know, and you'll find something, which is good. You know, that's definitely something. But there's absolutely going to be other stuff out there that's just lost to time. That if it weren't for the efforts of, you know, fucking nerds, we wouldn't have access to any of it anymore. And the same can be said about, the we found what we're looking for. Look at that. Well, let me get like real close. Look at that. Okay, so real quick explanation. I'm using a mod that lets me crawl. Kind of futzes with the the perspective a little bit. Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, I'm really happy that there's a lot of people out there working night and day to preserve and or restore those works of art. And I've said this a bunch of times before. Once that I can recall on stream anyway. Where, video games, despite how you feel about them, even the bad ones, it's all art. And with the advent of certain business models like, the games as a service model, I've talked about this on one of my other streams at length, but the long and short of it is, once they stop supporting those games, it essentially turns into abandonware. And unless there's somebody out there willing to go through the process of managing going through the process of formatting that those games into accessible packets. I'm not sure what words I'm trying to find here, but essentially, keep it from being lost altogether. There have been several games. Let's see, one off the top of my head is there was this game that used the Doom engine. That was essentially like an RPG shooter way back when, and the game was basically lost until this one YouTuber called Ross Scott came along and did a video on it, got in touch with the original development team, and essentially brought that game back from the dead. And there are other games that fall in the same category as that. You know what I just realized at talking about this? It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I can't access this copper unless I have a hammer. Damn. Okay, that's fine. We'll gather it anyway. And we will make that hammer. And then when we have it, we could just crack it all open at once, and we'll have a mountain of copper to work with, and we can make an anvil, like, right away. Right away being a relative term, because metalworking in this game takes some time. It's not... I don't wish that it was easier, because, to be honest, I like the time that it takes. It just really appeals to my slow, methodical playstyle of most games. But perhaps not as entertaining to watch. But when I actually go and upload this as a VOD and then edit the video down to be a little bit more, viewer friendly, then, perhaps that'll be a different story. Let's see if I can... Ooh, wait a minute. I almost did a bad. All right, let's see here. How do you suppose I get out of here? I could try doing some slick maneuvers here. Yeah, slick maneuvers. Let's go. All right. Standardization can be a good thing, but unfortunately people aren't very good at following standards, and so niche bugs, typically unexpected behavior, and end up becoming standardized for no good reason other than it was a part of a popular product, and changing it now would break everyone's workflow, even though it would probably be better to fix those things. Yeah, you're right. What is it? The adage, the history is written by the victors, and in this case it is, the popular programs are used by whoever happened to do the best in those times, which is not necessarily doing the best in the games market is not necessarily related. Oh man, another copper deposit just right here that I completely missed. Boy, I'm really just tripping all over copper. Just can't get away from it. I'm gonna have so much copper I won't even know what to do with it all. That's a lie. I know exactly what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna end up making a whole copper set of armor to go with my new bronze goodies. I should probably go out and find some more reeds. But before I do that, I need to make some more molds. So, the ones that oh, nice. Just as I was starting to run a little short on storage space. I could just pick you up. Okay. So, you probably just shove this back here. And look at that. Now we've got a place to put all of our copper bits. Let's see here. What else do we got that can be like... Aha! Copper, tin. And I think this is like... Oh, shit. Let's see. Resin. Honeycomb. I don't think anything else is necessarily forge related. So, okay, yeah. We've got all our forge stuff. Metalworking and forge stuff in one vessel, which will help keep things from getting too cluttered. I'm going to want to probably fire up another one of those, but I will do that after I make... Let's see here. What would be important to make? A hammer. That's what I needed. See, the ADHD is creeping in. It's trying to make me forget the goals I set for myself today. And 4 hours, I think, is probably about enough time to do the things that I want to do today. Because it does take quite a bit of time to do anything in this game. Which, once again, I keep saying that like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I very much prefer this form of progression over a lot of other survival crafting games that I've played in the past, where the progression is usually just like overly simplistic, very short, otherwise just not satisfying. This has a satisfactory nature to it that I've not really had in other survival games like it. Also, it has a interesting sort of narrative base to it, which hasn't fully been fleshed out as of yet because, you know, early access, and it hasn't even made it to Steam yet. This game's only available on, what is that, itch.io, which is a platform that, is a platform that I've been sleeping on for a long time, but earlier this year, I tried it out for the first time. And as it so happens, there's a lot of really cool stuff on itch.io. Okay, grass. Let me just grab the rest of this grass. Put it away. So it looks a little jank just sitting here like this. Wonderful. All right. Now, I'm also going to want to do an anvil, because an anvil is going to be a very important part of all this. And I also need to make ingot molds, because I need ingot molds in order to make more advanced items like the saw, which is required to make a whole bunch of other stuff. You're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, man. No, you're spot on. I just totally forgot that I had made a hammer mold already. And an anvil mold. So yeah, past me was on top of it. I went ahead and I made another hammer mold for nothing. Whatever. I'm sure I'll find a trader that'll buy it from me or something at some point or another. Not that it would be that significant. Okay, so I do need ingot molds. I can't believe I missed that. Oh, jeez. It's whatever. Alright. There we go. And I think, knowing what I know from my, my test game, I'm gonna make probably, 10 of these. Because I'm gonna eventually reach a point where I'm gonna want a bunch of these ingots just ready to go. And the best way to stock up on ingots is to have just a metric ass ton of these just ready to go. Which means I'm gonna have to probably dig some more holes out there, but that's fine. I like digging holes. I am dwarf, and I diggy hole. Wonderful. But yeah, the games, the history of the gaming industry is one that is very near and dear to my heart. And I'm not going to be a doomer about it, because obviously it is not the case everywhere. But there's definitely been a lot of like corporatization of gaming as a whole, which by and large is all about making a product that sells more than it's about making a good game. And there's that's not always the case, you know. Like, there are cases where publishers enable creative teams that would otherwise never have the means to put those projects together. I think the most current example of that is Helldivers, and the caveat here is that Sony is a piece of shit company. But if they didn't exist, neither would Helldivers 2. And I think a lot of people who play that would agree with me that it would be a shame if a game like Helldivers never made it past development. Yeah, that's a good point. The way that companies are publicly traded usually correlates with how motivated by the profit margins they are. And Arrowhead Studios is not a publicly traded company. However, Sony is a publicly traded company, and the value of Sony is in part tied to Arrowhead Studios. And depending on how Arrowhead Studios does determines the value of Sony stocks, which in turn motivates Sony to be a son of a bitch when it comes to picking and choosing what the company does. There's inevitably going to be a load of micromanaging. That's the word I'm looking for, going on there. Yeah, precisely. Like, you know, I'm preaching to the choir on this one. I don't think many people who would stick around and watch my content would be the soulless capitalist types. If you are, kick rocks, get out of here. I don't want you. Yeah, I hate it. And it's not that it was never around when I was younger. I just see it more now that I'm older and wiser. Now that I'm an old man, I see bullshit everywhere. And it doesn't have to be that way, but that's the way our world operates currently. And perhaps in the future, it won't always be that way, but it is right now, and that's what matters. So we will operate under the assumption that it's not going to change in our lifetime, and bitch about it accordingly. I also am not a big fan of people who, make fun of people for having what are otherwise like having these viewpoints of general anti-capitalist sentiments, but then, you know, so, oh, but you own a phone, don't you? Like, that's a capitalist product. Well, okay, like, first of all, let's not fucking get lost in the weeds here. We live in a world where not having those devices is a huge handicap. The world revolves around being able to communicate instantly, and a lot of people's income depends on that instant communication. Not to mention, like, it's just a system that we have to participate in. We have to if we want to eat food. Like, oh, but you could just homestead. Yeah, if you own property, if you're fucking lucky enough to be born into a family that owns land, yeah, you could do that. And by all means, you know, those people that do it, good on them. I'm happy they can do that. That's great. I gotta not chop this down. This is a good tree to keep around. Because it's got the resin. But yeah, the access of property is a huge factor to a lot of these hand-wavy, like, quote-unquote solutions that some people have about these very serious societal issues at play. And I'm willing to bet that a lot of those people have family or they themselves own land. Yeah, it is. It's completely reductive, and it doesn't mean anything. It's like, well, you breathe air, so that must mean you're pro-pollution. Like, dude, I have to breathe this air. It's exactly the argument that they'd be making. Yeah, it's stupid. But of course, you know, they're not making that argument because they want to have solutions. They're making that argument because they don't care about you and they want you to die and starve. So, I mean, you know, where's the lie? You know, find the lie. So, you know, I guess if being a communist means I don't want people to suffer needlessly and starve when we have every ability to operate in a food surplus, then so be it. Yeah, call me a fucking commie. You know, get out my hammer and sickle, start fucking singing that USSR national anthem, as it were, which is banging, by the way. All right, totally, like, by itself, not like considering any kind of political undertones to it whatsoever. I don't speak Russian. I don't know what they're saying in the anthem. I just know it sounds good. Even back when I was, you know, a stupid Republican voter, like fucking 10, 15 years ago, you know, I thought the Russian anthem sounded good. I still think it sounds good. Like, it sounds good. Like, whoever wrote it was a highly talented and competent musician. Yeah, dismissive arguments are dismissive. Bad things are bad. Which is a stance you would think that not a lot of people would argue with, but there's the world we live in, man. People fucking making arguments against their own common interests. What do you mean this huge conglomerate corporation wants me to die and suffer so that they can make an extra $1 billion for their bullets? They wouldn't do that. Yeah, okay. All right. Got the exact right amount of sticks. Oh, that feels so good. Hell yeah. Fucking banana bread at work, dude. Hell yeah. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Booyah! All right. Let's go light it up. Get lit. Let's go. Do it from back here first. Pacha. So, the notion of there being only two sides to politics is kind of based in this duopoly system that we have, which is ultimately you have to ask the question which side is going to be more conducive to the ends that you want to see, which ultimately does kind of boil down to, you know, do you want red Gatorade or blue Gatorade? And that is frustrating, and I I'm not going to disagree with the idea that the better side is good. That's not the case at all, obviously. There's plenty of shit wrong with the better of the two options, which if let's not fucking beat around the bush here. Republicans suck fuck ass. All right, you watch this channel, you better be a Democratic voter. Otherwise, you're stupid, and dumb, and I hate you. Anyways, I would be remiss if I did not address the dissatisfaction that neocons and liberals have generated to get us in this situation in the first place. I'm not going to pretend that people like Hillary Clinton are like our saviors, because they're not. They're fucking not. But because, you know, they've done a lot of like union busting in the past, and they have plenty of big mega donors that absolutely do not give a fuck about you and I. I mean, Hillary Clinton's biggest donors back in 2016 were banks. I forget which bank in particular was like the biggest donor, but yeah, no, absolutely. You know, she was a terrible front runner. I mean, Bernie Sanders was on the docket, but they fucking threw him under the bus because they're stupid and they hate us. But they hate us slightly less than the alternative, which is the point. And until we have a system where we can actually have like ranked choice voting, and we can order our votes in order of desire, then those are the cards that we gotta deal with. I'm not going to say that they're good, but they are better than the alternative, which is the whole point. Current system of voting, I don't mean politics as a whole. I mean, in the current system of politics, I don't mean politics as a whole. Yeah. So, the idea, though, that there isn't a clear path forward to at least better. See, at this point, I'm just kind of meandering. I gotta stay focused and have a conversation. But yeah, the idea that you can't make a decision right now that puts you in a better position in the future is sort of a defeatist attitude, and I'm not. I don't approve of throwing your hands up at. Okay. Remember when I said I didn't have a hammer? I have a hammer. But yeah, I don't approve of, you know, this defeatist attitude of throwing your hands up and just going, well, it all sucks, I'm not going to participate. Because your participation, despite the results being just kind of ass across the board, they could be so much more ass if you do not participate. And that is the core of what I'm trying to get across, is that I hear you. I understand that you're upset. I understand that the choices are basically get shot in the foot or get shot in well, I mean, maybe that's a bad example. I'm not going to play around with similes here, but the choice is pretty clearly better voting Democrat for everyday people like you and me. They are across the board generally more friendly to unions, across the board more critical of big businesses, and that party cares about the things I care about. I do still vote, but it just doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. Yeah, and you know what? That is exactly the frustration that I'm talking about. Because yes, progress is very slow, but the real difference comes in from all the stuff that happens in between voting seasons. That's where all the work is done. The voting seasons are important, and they do matter, but ultimately, the thing that really makes a difference is the stuff that is done in between the goddamn 33 carats from all that. Jesus Christ. But yeah, the real work is done in between voting seasons. And that's where the difference really comes out, is the legislation that gets passed between the every 2 years primaries. That's the word I'm looking for. Between primaries. And progress is slow, and it's frustrating. And I'm kind of, running in circles here, but I want to just drive home that I don't disagree with you. Yes, it's frustrating. And we could be doing a lot fucking better. But as far as I'm concerned, the attitude of, and I'm not trying to say that you specifically have this attitude, but the attitude of, nothing matters leads to sort of like situations where the more motivated side, which, in 2016 was a bunch of fucking bigots, getting their guy in the White House because a lot of centrist and left-leaning voters were not energized enough to go out and vote against him because fuck it, you know what, my vote isn't making the difference that I want it to. Well, that's how we got into this mess in the first place. We can't afford to be apathetic, even if the options are shit and less shit. We are obligated to pick the less shit option every time. I don't necessarily think that all Republicans are bad necessarily. I mean, fuck, I used to be a Republican. I got a cousin who serves in a Senate seat in my state. So yeah, obviously, I think there are exceptions. I know I make a bunch of broad generalizations, and that's never going to change. I'm not going to change the hyperbole that I use because it does serve the effective purpose of getting a certain point across, even if it is hyperbolic. Trying to think of a overall point that I'm making here, because at this point I am meandering more than I would really like to. Night is falling. There's still copper to be found, although I do have a lot of copper as it is. Let me see here. Hold on, just 1 second. So 5 units of copper, 500. So I've got more than enough for an anvil, just right out the gate here. The amount that I need. Whoops. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this amount right here should be 1,000 units, and then I'll have another 100 units left over to cast a tool or an ingot or something else. So that's what I will worry about. Do I have crucibles? I do have crucibles. Do I have charcoal? I think I do. Yes, I have charcoal. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We're gonna do that. We're gonna smelt up some of that good. I'm surrounded by extremists. My parental figures are bad about it. Yeah, that's another thing. Your situation is going to vary greatly depending on your state. The state that I live in is very mixed. The specific area that I'm in tends to vote Republican quite a bit. So yeah, I absolutely understand feeling powerless in a situation that is otherwise seemingly pitted against you as an individual. And it's important to it's important not to lose sight of the bigger picture. People like you and I, we are not alone. There are so many people just like us out there that depend on each other to go out there, cast the vote regardless. It's hard for it not to feel like an exercise in futility. But I want you to believe that it's not always going to be that way. If for no other reason, pessimism is such it's a quiet killer. And if for no other reason, I would have you be optimistic, if only, foolishly so, then be hopelessly depressed about the situation. And that is purely, emotionally, pragmatically speaking. This got a lot deeper into the politics than I was intending it to, but that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. Especially if it's about something as general as the importance of understanding what your options are, and understanding that it's not your options aren't always going to be great. And until we reach a point where we have some kind of like ranked choice voting, that's just how it's going to be. That being said, always reach out to people in communities that are like-minded of yours, and it's similar to your situation. There's so many people out there that are happy to give you the love and support that you need to push through situations like yours. Okay, so once this heats up, I need to. Okay, for that, I also need more of an optimistic nihilist. In the grand scheme of things, nothing matters. That's not going to stop me from assigning value to things I think are important to me. Yeah, and that attitude is it'll carry you very far. Which it sounds a lot like absurdism, but I think that there are some subtle differences there that I wouldn't be able to point out offhand. But from what I understand about absurdism is that it is nihilistic in the sense that there's a feeling that nothing matters, but it's not the "oh, nothing matters." It's the "nothing matters" kind of perspective. So there's a lot of like moral objectivism, objectivists out there who would just balk at the idea of people who kind of just play by their own rules, and morality being sort of a subjective sort of construct. But I think that even if it is a construct, it doesn't really change anything, because we still are the arbiters. Us as a society, we are still the arbiters of what is right and wrong. Like totally removed from any sort of like overarching, objective morality. Oh man, I'm really jumping in deep, but I'm really jumping in deep to the weedy side of things, because I do not have the scholarly background to really flesh out the ideas that I'm grappling with right now, which is it doesn't do you, the listener, any favors, because I'm not doing the subject matter justice. But I would look into the subject of moral relativism and absurdism as concepts from philosophers that, well, not philosophers, but I guess philosophers, yeah, technically they would be, that would have a much more refined way of putting this than I would. Your description of absurdism sounds like an excuse for why you tried to rob a bank with a banana and a paper bag. Yeah, well, I mean, if nothing matters, then fuck it, Rob that bitch with that banana. Nobody move! I've got a lethal dose of potassium! Any second now. See, this is what I'm talking about. There's so much time that goes into waiting for this to smelt down. Now, granted, I'm sure it's proportionate to the amount of material that I have in the crucible at the moment. Ooh, you know, you know what I didn't think? You know what I didn't think about? I didn't. Oh, perfect. Oh, dude, that could not have happened at a better time. Holy shit. Okay, wow. Fucking, let's go. All right. And in you go. Drink it up, bitch. More. Okay, it's going. I was just being impatient. Yeah, let's go. And boom, look at that. Beautiful. All right. That is a dangerous amount of molten copper right there. We've also got the pick the prospecting pick set aside. So now we can do things like prospect for iron, which iron is the big boy, the big boy ore that we want. You know what? While our tools and anvil are cooling, I should go and chop down some trees, because I'm gonna need a shit ton of wood to put together. What is going on over there? It's just clouds. Is it? Yeah, it's just clouds. I'm gonna need a shit ton of wood for all that charcoal that I'm gonna be brewing up. Although, up here, we get some sticks too. So I am out of sticks, I think.